Hi everybody, this new unit is all about harmony, and harmony is an element of music that a lot of students find really difficult. In fact, some students don't even think about it, and then later in their composition all of their parts clash, and it becomes a very unhappy situation. So I hope in this unit you'll be able to build some confidence and some deeper understanding to actually what's going on. Now, I don't think we should be surprised that harmony is difficult for people to understand, because if we think about other elements of music that we can recognise when we listen to music, other elements are easier. So for example, the pulse or the beat of the music is quite easy to spot, so it's easy to tap your foot to or clap along to or dance, so that's quite straightforward. The tune also is, or the melody is also pretty easy to pick up, and so you're walking down the street and you can hum along or you could whistle along to the music. But harmony is different, because harmony usually is made up of more than one note at a time. And the problem with that is we can only sing one note at a time. So therefore, it's not something that is naturally easy for us to replicate. I want you to think about it in the way of, imagine you were standing looking at a house. And a house is made up of all sorts of different components, like bricks and cement and windows and doors, and there's bits of glass and bits of brick and bits of roof, and there's all sorts of bits and pieces make up a house. It's not one material in one colour. Just like a plain sheet. It's not like that at all, and actually houses would look dreadful if they were like that. So they're kind of constructed of different building blocks that are stuck together, and that is the best way to think about harmony. Now, whatever we do with our harmony, we need to build it with purpose, but to get to that point where we're building something with purpose, we also need to understand these things. Okay, so during this 6 weeks we're going to look at what is harmony. We're going to think about how can we hear harmony when listening to music. We're going to look at the possible choices we can make when planning harmonic decisions, because there's not actually that many choices to make. Certainly once you've chosen a key to work in, there's even fewer choices to make. But that isn't restrictive. That just means that you can have more control over it. So then it makes it important that you understand what each of the bits, each of the components does within the harmony choices that you've got. We're also going to look at what we can learn about harmony by listening to music that's been written by different composers from different periods and different styles and genres of music. Because actually, if you understand what harmony is and how to listen to it, then you can understand the harmony in any genre. And then you start to realise how music in different eras in history fits together. It'll be something that actually will be quite a game changer for lots of you in understanding how music theory works. The last thing we're going to look at together is, why is harmony important? And there's something that, for me, the biggest thing is you can really control the energy of the music with harmony, not just which chords go where within your song or within your piece of music, but how frequently those chords change and which chords might go in a particular order next to each other. Okay, so there's all sorts of different things that we've never really looked at in detail before that we're going to do during this short course. Now, my own understanding of harmony has come from my own experience of playing and writing music. So while I've been designing this course, I've been really thinking deeply about what am I actually thinking about? How am I making my decisions? Very often, a progression or a pattern of chords that go one after another, the reason that I'll play that is because I've heard it somewhere else, or I've heard something similar somewhere else, and then I've learned how to play it, and I've found out that this is how that feels and how that sounds to move from one chord to another. So lots of understanding music in all sorts of different ways comes from your experience of doing it. So in this course we are going to do it, and so there'll be something every week for you to think about. There's something that we'll learn how to describe it, so that we're getting the terminology correct. We'll learn how to do it, and there'll be a task for you to create, and then there'll be a Kahoot quiz at the end of each week, so that you can prove what you've understood in that week. Okay, so this is Understanding Harmony, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay folks, in every one of these sessions I'm going to introduce you to a new song in terms of its harmony, and I'm going to do it using Lego. So I've created this template that we're going to use. I just want to give you a bit of a tour around. So in each of these yellow squares, you can see the squares are kind of within the mat there. Those represent the bars in our 8-bar sequence. So we've got bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And for the purpose of this, we've got 4 crotchet beats in a bar, so the time signature is 4, 4. And if I was to count through that, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see I've got 4 beats in each chord there. Now the coloured boxes at the bottom, these down here, those represent each of the 6 chords in a particular key. Now at this moment it doesn't matter what key we're working in, and I'd like you to think more and more about that with harmony. So I'm going to use the orangey yellow blocks to represent chord 1. This is chord 2, that's brown. White is chord 3, blue is chord 4, red is chord 5, and green is chord 6. And there's all sorts of different things that straight away we can look at. For example, the primary chords are 1, 4 and 5, and I've represented them to help you remember that with the primary colours, yellow, blue and red. So chords 1, 4 and 5, not only are they known as the primary chords, but in a major key, chords 1, 4 and 5 are always major. In a major key, chords 2, 3 and 6 are always minor. 2, 3 and 6. So in the same way that 1, 4 and 5 are called primary, 2, 3 and 6 are called secondary. Okay, we can choose as we create our chord structure or our chord progression, we can choose from any one of these. And in fact we could start with chord 1 and put chord 1 here like there is, and then we could have chord 1 all the way through in every bar. A flaw of that is then the harmony doesn't change and might become uninteresting as it goes through. We could have one of each of these on every beat, but then the harmony would be maybe too complicated. So we want to, so the pattern of harmony and how quickly it changes from one chord to the next is important. We've also got, if you have a look at the chord sequence that we've got at the top here, the chord progression, we've only used 4 chords. We've used chord 1 here in these 2 bars. In these 2 bars we've got chord 6. In this bar we've got chord 4. This bar we've got chord 5. In the last 2 bars we've gone back to chord 1 again. But there's only actually, if we look at that, we've only actually used 4 different chords in the whole of the progression. And if I say to you that this progression in the song that you just listened to, Stand By Me, this progression, this 8-bar structure of chords is actually repeated over and over and over again for the whole song. So these are all the chords of Stand By Me. So if we were to think about what key it might be in, the original key for Stand By Me, the version that you've just listened to, is in A major. So if we think about these now as the letter names of notes, you can look at the page in my book that I've put up on the website if you want to check this out. But if I was to play the notes in the scale of A major, it would be A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. So for that reason, they represent A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, and F sharp minor. So if we're thinking about in A major, this chord sequence, then actually what we would play, we'd play A major for the first 2 bars. Then we play F sharp minor, then we play D major, E major, and A major. But once we understood that this is a pattern of harmony, we could play in any key. So for example, I could start in G, and this be in G major. So if I wanted to have a slightly lower pitch in my overall song because G is lower than A, in which case G major, and what's chord 6 in G major? Let's have a look. So this would be G, A, B, C, D, E, but it's chord 6. It's a secondary chord, so it's a minor chord, so it'd be E minor, which kind of matches, because if you remember at the beginning of the A major version, we had A major, F sharp minor, F sharp minor. So instead of that, we'd have G major, G major, E minor, E minor. You can start to see that that pattern can be moved up or down to any key. So once you recognize it as being a progression that we use describing these Roman numerals, then hopefully you can start to see the layout of harmony that I've got there. Okay, so what you can see on the screen here is a template that I've put up onto Shobi for you. So you need to start the session by going to share the file, and you're going to share it from Shobi to your iPad and then open it up in GarageBand. If you need help doing that, get in touch and I'll help you. It's very straightforward to do though. Okay, now in year 8 we looked at chords, and for example the chord of G major was G, B and D, which you had to play together. Because it's a little bit fiddly on the iPad, and that's not really what I'm interested in helping you with this week, we're not going to use the piano keyboard at the bottom. So on the right hand side, click on that button that's the last one on the right, and it goes red, and this takes us into the smart piano. So you can just now press an individual area and it will play you, for example, an A chord or a D chord or an E chord or an F sharp minor chord. Okay, as we are very much thinking just about the progression this time, then I'm actually going to allow you on this occasion to use autoplay as well. So you can see me changing it here. If I tap on A, it will continuously play a pattern in A major. If I then click on F sharp minor, listen to what happens. It continues playing the same pattern, so it's in context with the same song, but it's now playing the F sharp minor chord. Let's change to D. Let's change to E. Back to A, and then just tap on that same box to stop it. Now what you've got to do in this Make It session today is you're going to play along to this very, very famous hook line, this melody line that I've pre-recorded for you. So listen back to it, press play. And you're actually going to play that chord sequence that I demonstrated to you using the Lego. So I'll do it for you now, and I'm just going to play along to it. Get ready on the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 2 bars of that, and then we go to F sharp minor. Next one is D, and then E, and then A. Worth keeping playing that round and round, because you're going to get an idea of how everything fits together. It's good to practice playing harmony, because then you'll hear when those changes happen. I mentioned in the introduction video that hearing harmony is not that easy, because you get distracted by the tune or by the beat. But actually, once you can hear it, then it's quite easy to then pick out in other music you listen to. So you need to practice doing it, just like I'd practice doing it then. You can try some different autoplay patterns if you'd like to. I'd like to leave it on grand piano so that we keep that as a simple thing for today. So the last thing I'd like you to do is record it. Let's have a look at how easy that is. Press record. 2, 3, 4. F sharp. D. E. A. Get ready to stop. There we go. Now let's listen to it back. It should have quantized it itself, because GarageBand's clever in that way, but we still need to listen to check the work. was one problem with that. I don't know if you spotted it. I didn't press the F sharp minor quickly enough. So actually, when we got to chord 3, sorry, bar 3 even, that was terrible, bar 3, then it didn't go straight into F sharp minor, and there was still kind of a remnants of an A happening. So if I'd done that and that was my work, I would double tap on it and press delete and re-record it, see if I could make a better job of it. Because all of this is proving that you can show me that you understand which chords go in which bars, and that you can make it as a progression. Okay, now once you've done that and you've recorded it and you listen to it and you're happy that it's good, then you need to make a screen recording of that and upload it to Shobi, and then that's proof that you've understood it and that you've done your work in this subject for this week. So if you pull down your finger from the top right hand corner of the screen, that's where the red button is to record. Now clearly I'm recording this now, so I can't demonstrate that to you now, but I think by now you understand how to do that. Okay, so that is your make it session. Do that, then do the fill in the gaps, and then you've just got the Kahoot left to do, and that will be it for this week.